So many of y'all been saying Dragon Link is dead, and it's not. Let's talk about it. YG baby, let's get into it. I think I'd be remiss in not being forthright with you. I definitely think the deck took a huge hit, which I'll talk more about when I actually show you the list. But some of these combos, guys, I just wanted to show that the deck can still do a little bit of what it was trying to do before, which was mainly just end on Savage, Spheres, and hopefully a Tidying if you opened up well. But now you pretty much, I feel like you may have to play more Tidying. You may even almost play 3. I wouldn't say 3. That sounds crazy because the math wouldn't add up at all. But in looking over this basics within the combo, starting off with Seaford, you can still pretty much get there. You definitely need to have some sort of other extension, whether that be the quick launch in your hand and Noctovision, or some of the other cards that can come out of your hands. There definitely is room for growth within the deck. I do feel like there's 3 different versions of this deck still, whether that be Dragoonity, whether that be trying to mix it with some of the old engines that have already been seen over and over again, like Crusadia, in and out of decks like that, or just flat out just playing it in the pure-ish fashion. It's still not pure Rockets, but it definitely is relatively strong and definitely has a deck list that can at least stand up to baseline stuff. But I don't think it's going to be super duper amazing, because I think the hits of Striker, Dragon, and ELPY just hurt too much, because ELPY helped you to play through Nibiru, and basically you just don't have that way. The Crusadia stuff that I wanted to talk about, I definitely had to mention Crusadia Maximus, Crusadia Ouroboros, and then the Dragon as well, Draco. I do feel like this is the proper way. I feel like this may be the best right now, but this is just my opinion. It takes a lot more playtesting than just a day. But I definitely think that having some kind of inherent out built into your deck to out Nibiru, which would be Trap Tricks for Flasia, at least in preliminary testing, is definitely interesting. And then being able to play from there is basically going to depend on your hand. And getting another combo, I again wanted to show a card like Noctovision with a card like Chambermaid, because Chambermaid is going to search the Tidying, which you still are going to have to base your deck around if you're still planning on playing Dragon Link. A lot of combo players are going to just pick the best combo deck. They don't really care what it is. A lot of people love dragons and love this deck and love rockets, so they're not going to stop playing this deck. And I'm kind of doing this video more so for them. You know, a lot of the combo players are just going to move off this deck because the hits were huge. I think the Striker Dragon definitely hurt a lot more, but I do think that ELPY definitely makes you walk into Nibiru a little bit more hand than what you were accustomed to, because you have to lean heavily on Pisty, and then there's no recursion after you get Nibiru'd on a Pisty, so that just is what it is with that. I've been really slowing down these combos. I could have talked over that and gone over and over, but this is mainly plays that a Dragon Link player, quote unquote, I guess it's a Rocket player now, already kind of knows. But I just think that where you would go into ELPY or in the past, you just have to walk into Nibiru a little bit harder, because you can only walk directly into a Pisty. Obviously, these are going to be the inboards, and it's just not quite what it was, but it still can get there. It's just going to be, what are you really dealing with? As far as the deck list, I left it 39 on purpose because I'm like, what in the world is the 40th card? I really feel like I wanted to show everything down here as far as in the side. As far as options that you can have, you still can play the Dragoonity stuff, which that's why I pulled it up on the screen for you. I definitely do think Crusadia is a very, very real option, and I do think that Galactic Spiral Dragon is a very real option to be put inside of the deck. I think it's weird that Brotar is a little bit strange to me in the deck now, pretty much, but I do think that a lot of these other cards definitely have their place somewhere within the deck. I feel like Hope Harbinger maybe needs to go into the main deck, just because it doesn't play in the Super Poly and any of the boards that you want to continue to play. So let's say you wanted to still play the Dragoon package or something. Maybe you still wanted to play a lot of the way the deck used to play. You don't want to walk into Super Poly, and I still feel like Super Poly is going to be really strong because the Shadal deck is going to be really strong. And it's going to be that deck is going to be even more powerful because there's slower decks that it can take advantage of, like Salamangreat and Striker. Whereas in the past, you know, it may have struggled with Dino a little bit more so. But it's going to be interesting. I really love this format and what we're about to walk into. I love playing Sky Striker. I also kind of enjoyed watching this deck, so I kind of hate that it's going to get hit. I definitely think Call by Grave goes in here somewhere, so maybe you take out that third Nibiru I just put up there. But this is really just me trying to grasp at straws to try to help a Dragoon... I almost said Dragoonity player. You're not playing Dragoonity, you're playing Dragon Link still, quote unquote. I definitely think that somewhere in here Call by the Grave needs to be, because your plays have to go through. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know down in the comments whether you think this deck is ever going to be relevant again, and I'll see you next time. YG, baby.